There isn't a woman alive who can hang with Dakota Ditcheva in the cage. She's a master striker with knockout ability at every range, and she holds the type of power that can end a fight in a split second. This is Fight Legends TV. Let's go! On April 10th, 2012, Dakota Ditcheva stepped into the MMA cage for the first time to make her professional debut. And for Jenny Lyon, she was being offered up as a sacrificial lamb here. She just didn't know it yet. She was getting paid to be a glorified punching bag for one of the best prospects in MMA.
Ready? Ding ding, let's go.
Dakota knew she wouldn't need that long to deal with this opponent, and so she decided to turn on her offense straight away. Lyon could do little more than stand there, biting on every feint that Dakota threw her way, falling into every trap.
Stuck with our switch again, just when it says she looks like she's sticking with this.
Stepping into range with powerful elbows, Dakota was absolutely merciless on the inside.
That sounded sweet from here. Oh, what an elbow! And again, and again. Going in here. Oh, I think Jenny's wow.
There are levels to the striking game, and that's what Dakota was proving tonight.
Jenny trying to cut off.
She's gone down.
Dakota drags it to the floor.
Eventually, Dakota let her back up, welcoming her back into the striking realm with the finish now front and center in her mind.
Elbows, Dakota.
Yeah, like I said, the tie back down. She'll be used to throwing elbows. She wound up that before she was in the throw.
Lyon could do absolutely nothing but stand there and take it, a sitting duck for whatever strike Dakota decided to hurt her with. And this time, she chose something flashy.
Oh,
spinning elbow.
Oh, wow. Oh, knee. She dropped.
Masterclass.
This fight wasn't even competitive. Patricia Borges was truly up against it in this fight. There's no other way to see it. Dakota came out with her usual intensity straight off the bat, and wisely Borges tried to clinch with her immediately.
UK and European star Dakota Ditcheva, representing Manchester top team. First kick to the face.
All Borges could really do here was stall Dakota and pray that her cardio wasn't up to the challenge.
She's had, it's been almost impossible to get her fight. That's why they're flying in opponents from around the world. Because who wants to fight this monster? Why would you?
Right now, Ditcheva just needed to remain calm and fight her way into a stronger position.
Before, really took carry eyes on and you know, he's not exactly a cute fighter.
Borges was threatening with submissions, but even at this early stage, Dakota's BJJ was strong enough to allow her to defend.
Well, it's that team she's in now, Manchester top team, because she has one of the most perfect role models. Oh, heel potential.
And as soon as she felt comfortable tangling with her opponent's grappling, defense turned to offense, and in the blink of an eye, momentum was shifting. And before Borges knew what was going on, Ditcheva caused her plan to backfire with a brutal TKO finish. Would Hasna Jabber's experience and age advantage help her in a contest with the bona fide wrecking machine who stood in front of her? Well, she certainly didn't look fazed, but who knows if that was going to count for anything in the end? Dakota was making her debut in the PFL here, and very clearly wanted to come out of this fight with a huge statement win.
Switching stances.
Her distance control, the rangy kicks, the speed and accuracy, all of the hallmarks of her game were already on full display.
Some serious bombs, overhand shots. Ditcheva utilizing that
Dakota was controlling the tempo and was clearly never too far away from a huge offensive burst.
Range with her kicks, keeping her on the outside. Nice open there from Dakota. Push kick, cross, passes her in, and then a right hand after.
And eventually, when the kill shot came, Jabber signaled to the ref that she was done, totally uninterested in finding out what happens next.
And here she's hurt to the body, that's it. The end of the fight.
Would Catherine Corriganes fare any better than Dakota's last opponents? Well, if we were betting on the fight, we'd be inclined to say no. Ditcheva came out there with the confidence of a champion, long before she'd be within touching distance of the belt. The clinch has always shown itself to be a real bright spot in Ditcheva's arsenal, and yet so many opponents feel safe there. We were slowly seeing Dakota establish herself as a true mixed martial artist in these fights, not merely a kickboxer. You could really see the evolution of her takedown defense in real time. She had clearly been putting in those hard hours in the gym. Whatever Corriganes' game plan was coming in, it was utterly falling apart in front of our eyes. Eventually, Dakota found her moment and proceeded to put her rival away, like it was little more than a casual day at the gym. Sweden's Malin Hermansson came in, looking mean and ready to fight, but this wasn't going to end well for her. Any hardcore fans tuning in for this one knew that the idea of an upset was highly unlikely, and in reality, Malin would be lucky to last a single round. Controlling the distance was key at first for Dakota. She's a fighting supercomputer, and for her, making reads as early as possible will always be crucial. As usual, her first offensive statement, and the fight was a big one, and Hermansson felt her power pretty early on. The sign of a truly great fighter is the ability to add new facets to their game all the time, and here we got to see Dakota's wrestling game come to the fore. Ditcheva was clearly not interested in rushing, and for her, every second spent on the ground was valuable in-fight experience. Patience and comfort in your secondary skill set is something that has to be earned. But even here, Dakota barely looked worried. All she needed to do was wait for her opening. And in that moment, any hopes that the rest of the division had for proving Dakota was one dimension died. That's what you call a supremely well-rounded fighter, folks. Danielle Scatizzi had the love of the Dublin crowd behind her as she stepped in there with Dakota to try and upset the odds. But Ditcheva, despite being newer to MMA, was a lifelong fighter at heart, and the bright lights never seemed to faze her all that much. Dakota was clearly getting confident in her adaptation to the M. world, and so she seemed pretty comfortable turning up the heat more and more on Skittizi as the fight went on.
TT in the southpaw stance, coming out aggressive. And running right.
Skittizi in some ways probably had the right game plan, but trying to pressure a counter-striker like Dakota can be an absolute death sentence if you're not on their level. We've said it before, and we'll say it again. There are levels to this.
She's got to get around these legs. Oh, knees! This clinch knee is we saw Dakota Ditcheva finish her fight last year with
Skittizi would do little more than try to delay what was coming. Because at range, Dakota was eating her up like a freshly cooked meal.
See if she can get Dakota's hips off the cage. Put her arm back.
It's a good game plan from Skittizi, so the way she's got to win. It's not always pretty.
If we've proven one thing in this video so far, it's that Dakota is no slouch when it comes to fighting off a determined wrestler.
At that range of the goal, we know that.
There's that strength he talks about. Good work by Dakota maintaining.
All of a sudden, there was a tension in the arena's air as the crowd realized their fighter was doomed. Each passing second brought Skittizi's chances to an even smaller chance.
Look at the work by Skittizi. A lot of effort expended to try to get Dakota down.
The damage done by Dakota was so great in that opening round that the doctor decided to save Skittizi from a far worse fate, calling off the fight.
5 minutes of round number 1. They're going to be brought your winner by TK on
Dakota Ditcheva versus Lisa Malden. Lisa Malden was next in line for Dakota in a fight that would serve as Ditcheva's second bout on US soil. Malden put on her mean face and paced the cage in a threatening manner, but that didn't mean anything was going to come of it.
fighting out of Orange, California, Lisa Malden.
She was greeted by a rather happy-looking Dakota Ditcheva, one who didn't seem like she had a care in the world. With the odds makers declaring Ditcheva to be a huge betting favourite, the question here was whether she could be as dominant as their prediction suggested.
Practice show Dakota Ditcheva the minus 4,500 favorite as this fight begins.
Early pressure was clearly part of the game plan here for Ditcheva, and Malden seemed willing to accept it.
Escape from Lisa Malden. Overhead left.
If one thing was for certain, it's that Dakota looked sharp, and she was ready to pounce on any openings that Malden gave her.
You can see the speed of Dakota Ditcheva on display. Nasty combination. She threw a punch with her leg stuck up there.
Dakota might not be known for her top game, but her ability to hammer her prey with ground and pound was very noticeably getting better.
Still a smile on Dakota Ditcheva's face as she knocked out the footwork. As she walked out, as she is fighting an American.
Even though Malden was avoiding getting chewed up by kicks at range, this was definitely not an ideal position for her to be in. These mid-tier fighters just seem to freeze up in front of Ditcheva. It's as if they have no idea what's coming next. And when Malden started to break, Dakota turned up the intensity and started to punish her. It's actually surprising that she managed to survive as long as she did, and perhaps the ref or her corner should have stepped in. but eventually Dakota got the job done, utterly breaking her down until the TKO was clear. Dakota Ditcheva versus Chelsea Hackett. Would Chelsea Hackett be the one to finally disrupt this hype train? Well, given that she had only fought 7 times as a pro, she was up against it. And Dakota was truly looking especially confident during her fighter introduction, as if she was enjoying every second of the build-up.
No defeats. No wins coming my way. Oh, knockout. She is.
It wasn't just experience deficits that Hackett was hoping to overcome. No, she was pretty much outgunned by Dakota in every key physical and technical category. And like so many others who try to hold Ditcheva up against the fence, this was a stalling tactic and nothing more. Ditcheva just had to be patient, something she was getting progressively better at. Dakota was very noticeably learning to play the MMA game, not panicking when fighters tried to force her into disadvantageous positions. Hackett wasn't the one in control of this fight's direction. Ditcheva was. Ditcheva was very clearly already UFC ready. She just needed to keep scoring these wins. And eventually, the whole world would be calling on Dana White to sign her. Dakota Ditcheva versus Gina Bishop. Gina Bishop was the fighter standing between Dakota and her pursuit of the $1 million PFL Grand Prix jackpot. And with more eyes on her than ever before, if you thought that Dakota would wilt under the pressure, think again.
These 2 victories for Dakota hold the center. It's going to be easier to defend the takedowns. If Opaki's not against.
With so much on the line, it was understandable that Dakota took her time in feeling out her opponent's range.
Ditcheva in the black, Gina Bishop in the blue.
Putting a single foot wrong in this fight could have a career-altering impact, and so Ditcheva needed to fight with a certain amount of maturity.
Still the body shot is over.
Dakota likes a straight right hand in the body as well, and there's a push kick.
But she also knew that getting put in a bad position was by no means the end of the world.
And this is really what people wanted to see from Dakota. The questions weren't around whether she's a dangerous striker. It's what happens when she gets put on her back.
What happened next was nothing short of a massacre. Dakota did not need a second invitation once she found her moment.
We had Dakota in the parlay also. We threw a little sprinkle on my TK.
And from there, Bishop was in all kinds of trouble.
The confidence that she's going to have now getting up is going to be unbelievable.
There might not be a more violent fighter in women's MMA today than Dakota Ditcheva. They call her dangerous for a reason. You can see the labors of a life spent training and striking. She's got a level of fluidity that any fighter would kill for.
With that knee right there on the button, drop your straight to her knees. Perfect shot, little hammer.
And we can guarantee you that Gina Bishop has never encountered an opponent like her before.
Right in the forehead, that puts her down again, and the referee steps in.
Just how far do you think Dakota Ditcheva goes until she finds herself up against someone who gives her a challenge? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.